the boss babe borders
like
on this
small dick syndrome, like, you know, like big truck, small penis. Like that,
I guess.
That or even like bad bitch. Like it'd be a bad bitch, or like if a guy's like, I'm an alpha male. Most women are not going to be turned on by a they want an alpha male. They don't want a self-proclaimed alpha male. Right. So it's the same kind of thing, right? Like a guy wants a woman that has passion, or she's doing something. Proclaiming it and having that mindset is not good.
Well, a man wants a challenge, but not in the business way, not in career way. He wants a challenge as in he has to pursue you before he gets you, and then he's invested, and those sort of challenges. He doesn't want a challenge as in, I'm dating this woman who makes this much money and I make close to hers, but maybe not enough. Now I got to make more than her.
Yeah.
Or else now I have to hear that she makes more than me, because potentially the boss babe could be like, what are you doing? I'm making $60K a month and you only make $50K a month. What are you doing, honey? Do you guys really like boss babes? And before you answer, I already told you in the car that before you answer, I want to say a few things.
Okay.
I am in no way implying that women should not own a business, run a business, do what she needs to do.
Okay.
I'm mostly talking about those women. And the boss babe, I would say, is a woman who is so set on doing it all herself.
Right.
And like, I don't need a man.
Right.
But she wants a man, but then she can't figure out why she can't find a man.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I wanted to like clarify a little bit.
And that also, in my mind, when I think of boss babe, I think of that as her identity. She's proud of that thing. She's like, I'm a boss babe, right? And it's like, her entrepreneurship.
She's giving herself the title.
Right.
Like, and that's why I wanted to use boss babe, because I know plenty of women who own businesses that aren't in that boss babe mindset.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are people that take it to the extreme, and I feel like it's actually hurting them.
Right.
Rather than helping them.
It's like your identification.
Right. And it kind of reminds me of when someone who's really insecure is like being overly confident to try to make themselves. And I get it because like I owned a business. Granted, I did it more of like a side business. And you do get that feeling of like, oh, like maybe I'm not good enough. Like, should I be charging this? Like, I get that it is something that can cause insecurities.
Right.
I feel like especially in women, you know, because we weren't allowed to work, you know, in the 50s or whatever. And now we can do that. But I feel like it kind of for me, the boss babe kind of sort of area.
It's like overcompensation.
Right. Borders
like
on this
small dick syndrome, like, you know, like big truck, small penis. Like that,
I guess.
That kind of thing. Or even like, you know, being a, what's the other one? It's not, what's the bad bitch? Like it'd be a bad bitch or like if a guy's like, I'm an alpha male. Where it's like, you're like, right. Okay. America.
Yeah. Male. Anybody who like labels themselves as something like that, it's normally like, okay, you're probably overcompensating for some other sort of feelings that you have inside. But yeah, so I wanted to talk to you. And I mean, another thing I want to clarify too is that I'm not also implying to do things for men. I'm not saying don't start a business because men don't want a woman who owns a business. I'm not saying that at all. Right. I'm saying more of the boss babe, I don't need a man, like sort of concept that is more prevalent now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I've did all my disclaimers.
Okay, now I can answer the question.
I mean, there's more things that I want to say, but I feel like I want to get I already know because I know you, but I want to get you in here with your thoughts.
So the question is, do men like boss babes?
Yeah. Like, are they more attracted to them? Like, is that what they want? And actually, it's kind of hard to ask you because I know what you're going to say, but I feel like the guys in the comments would say something different. And maybe you'll address that as well.
No.
I already knew.
Podcast.
You said that in the one that came out today, too.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you said the exact same thing. Okay. You were like, no, end of podcast.
I'm consistent. But no. Okay. So again, like you said, I agree the same thing. There's nothing wrong with a woman having a business. I think it's great. I think it's great if you have, a business. But identifying with the boss babe, like this idea of I don't need a man, like giving yourself the label of boss babe, it's not attractive. It's not attractive. And yeah, maybe some guys in the comments would say it, but I still don't think that, a majority of men are not going to like a woman self-proclaimed. Just like, okay, which woman is going to like it if I'm like, I'm an alpha male, right? Like,
I mean, I agree.
Okay, there's a very small percentage of women that's like, yeah, that's
very
like,
small.
Yeah, that's like, oh, is your last name Johnson? Oh, okay, then yeah, we're good to go. That inside joke, but no, I mean, most women are not going to be turned on by a self-proclaimed. They want an alpha male. They don't want a self-proclaimed alpha male.
Right.
Right. So it's the same kind of thing, right? Like a guy wants a woman that has some kind of, passion, or she's doing something where they're like, she's not just doing nothing with her life. Doesn't mean that, a guy's going to value women on different things, but proclaiming it and having that mindset is, it's not good.
Well, I think too, again, people are going to crucify me, but they do it anyway. So
it doesn't, see, now you're learning the internet. This is how,
but
welcome.
I can't speak for boss babes everywhere, but I think their thing too, a lot of the time is that they are trying to flex their money like a man flexes their money.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not attractive to a man.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing as if I wore yoga pants and I'm like, oh, checking me out because I'm wearing yoga. It's like, not going to work. It'll work if you wear them. Not going to work if I wear them, so.
I don't know. Your butt was looking pretty good in your sweatpants this morning. Looked like them yoga pants you talk about with the right up the butt cheeks.
Well, it's just not going to have the same effect, okay? It's like...
It distracted me, but yeah, I mean, so I think that's the thing that to talk about is the concept of women feeling like they have to flex their money and how that's not necessarily what men are looking for, at least men that they want. Because let's look at it this way, right?
Yeah.
I'll give boss babes one thing for sure. They're out there running a business. They're doing what they have to do. That's hard work.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's hard work.
Right.
But they're looking for a man of a caliber, or they should be, that's high because their caliber is high, right? If you're running a business,
right,
you're probably not going to want a guy that works at Pizza Hut. No offense if you work at Pizza Hut, but they're probably going to want another entrepreneur or someone similar, right? On their level to understand where they're coming from and to help them, I would think.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of those men aren't necessarily looking for someone to compete with.
No.
So when the boss babes come in and they go on a date and they're like, I'm doing this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
A man feels like he almost has to compete with her. This is my opinion.
Okay.
Feels like he has to compete with her in a way. And a man wants a challenge, but not in the business way, not in career way. He wants a challenge as in he has to pursue you before he gets you, and then he's invested, and those sort of challenges. He doesn't want a challenge as in, I'm dating this woman who makes this much money and I make close to hers, but maybe not enough. Now I got to make more than her.
Yeah.
Or else now I have to hear that she makes more than me, because potentially the boss babe could be like, what are you doing? I'm making $60K a month and you only make $50K a month. What are you doing, honey?
Maybe you should jump on my webinar.
Right. Or something like that. So I feel like it's harder for women in that mindset because they're almost kind of in the boss babe mindset. They're almost kind of repelling men because men don't want to compete with them.
Right. It's just not even an attractive trait, right? It's not the thing that attracts a man. Like as a man, we don't find that attractive, right? Just like as a woman, and the reason why I think women think this is because that's what they find attractive, right? Woman's like, who calls herself a boss babe, she's like, yeah, these are making money, like going after your shit, like all these which are somewhat, they're more masculine traits. Like, let's be honest. It doesn't mean that you have to be. It's kind of
like when men are like, women just want a hot guy. That's what they want. So they're projecting that.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and I think to add to that, because this is a good time to add to it, women are so afraid to be feminine. Like they're so afraid to live a soft life, which I do feel like it's kind of swinging back though. And it's becoming more accepted to be feminine and softer.
It depends on what circles you're.
But for so long, like when women, you know, were able to go out and get a job and do all that stuff, they started competing with men, not intentionally, but they did start competing with men.
Right.
And now the boss babe mindset, I feel like is still, it's like almost the extreme version of that still. Yeah. It's like, it's still competing. Like, because you can have a business and make money and not be competing or not be your full personality or it not be something that you use to define you.
Right. And because again, that's more of a masculine characteristic, right?
Right.
If a guy has that same mentality, I mean, hopefully he's not calling himself a boss babe, but you know, if he is, that's fine. But
a boss dude. I don't know.
Boss dude. I'm boss dude. I'm the boss. Just call me the boss. All right. So
that's probably what they would say.
You know, that's an attractive trait. It's an attractive quality, right? And again,
but also not if he's like flexing it.
Well, not the flexing part of it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, and this is where women also are like, oh, it's a double standard, like in the workplace and stuff. It's like if a guy is assertive and speaks up in meetings, he's praised. But if a woman does that, then she's like, you know, whatever. So there is kind of that, there's some truth to that. Right. But there's also a reason for it. It's because that generally those masculine traits, when a man embodies them, they're looked on as good. When a woman embodies those masculine traits, they're not looked on as good. Not to say that.
Which I feel like if you are a woman who's working and wants to work, then you should be able to speak up and be assertive.
Exactly.
Because if you're going to be in that environment, you should be able to act the same way without the double standard. But I agree with you that it's like we're here and it should be, okay, well, if you're going to work, period, you're in this work box, then you can be assertive and you can say what you want and, you know, get shit done.
Right.
But it's still like, if you're a woman, now you're bossy. But if you're a man, you're like a great leader. And it's still separated, even though it should be, if you're both at work, you should both be able to do the same things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's a complicated, you know, thing because there are, again, like I said, the masculine traits and the feminine traits. And
so, it is more masculine.
Yeah.
And I can't speak out of my own experience, but I feel like there are women, especially now, who are trying to maybe go to work. Maybe they are a CEO or something. Yeah. And they try to go and run their business and they have to maybe be more masculine. But when they get home, they want to be more feminine. And that's harder.
It is harder.
It's harder to flip the switch. Right. Rather than, you know, just being able to be feminine,
right?
No
that's
matter
why
what.
A man needs to provide, right? These men out here,
well,
today,
that's the ideal, right?
They don't get it. They don't get it. Like you need to be. Yeah. Oh, can a woman do that? And is it fine? And will I applaud her for doing it? Of course. However, you're making it harder on yourself, or men are making it harder because
because now you have to like. Yeah. Try to make sure that she can flip the switch. Like, what if she comes home and she's still in her masculine? But it's like, if she has to bring home money to pay the bills because you're not paying for all of them, she's got to do it. She has to. I've said this probably in other episodes, but I've always said it in general, that when a woman is single and she's working because she has to pay her bills, she's going to be somewhat more masculine because that's more masculine.
It's a masculine world. Yeah, she'll survive.
Even if she gets in a relationship, and it's like 50-50 or whatever, she still has to bring home money.
Right.
She still has to be somewhat more masculine than she would be if she didn't have to work and she could stay home.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that that's also easy, like staying home and raising children and things like that. Like they both, at least you get to be in your feminine, but it's also hard because you're raising human beings.
Yeah, it's a role you're more suited for. That's the thing, is that
But it's still hard, but at least it allows you to be more in an element that seems more natural. But especially in my generation, we grew up with, go out, make sure you get a job, which is good. I feel like women should be able to get a job because then they won't be stuck in bad relationships or situations they can't get out of because they can go get a job. They know that they can do it. But at the same time, we never really heard about, the right way to have a traditional marriage, which is also why we started this podcast. It's like we're trying to take the traditional marriage and make it more modern in today's world.
Exactly.
And I feel like I said, it's kind of shifting more towards women being able to be in their feminine, and also women are learning about like the different phases of their own bodies and like when their hormones are peaking and things like that so that they can help regulate themselves. So yeah, I just feel like it's really complicated.
It is.
And I'm not saying that women shouldn't own a business, but I'm thinking like if you own a business and you find a good man, I feel like he should come in and help you. I mean, he probably has his own business too, but he might be able to help you on like the financial side or some side that he's better at.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can handle maybe like the day-to-day business and the creative aspect if that's your favorite. But maybe you like the financial and he's more creative or something. Like, I just feel like you can still work with owning a business as a woman. I'm not saying it's you. If you own a business as a woman, your life is over and you're going to be alone forever. But there's a way to handle it. And the boss babe mindset, I feel like would push any guy away because they almost come at it in a way of like, I don't need you and I can do this on my own. I already did this on my own.
Right.
And that's not going to make a man feel included at all. That makes him feel like you're going to compete with each other. And that's now you've just ruined the whole thing.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just not attractive because you got to think about when you're thinking about attracting a mate, right? What do they value? Not what do you value?
Right.
Right. And it's, again, like we said before, a lot of women get in their mind that the things that they're valuing, that they find attractive in a man, that a man would find attractive, but that's not the case. And so those are actually unattractive things, right? That a woman displays those masculine traits. So she's really, I think, and a lot of women were like, oh, well, I don't want to conform to what a man wants me to be. I'm like, okay, it's fine, but you know what? If I'm selling a product, because you're an entrepreneur, right? You're a boss babe. You just going to make whatever product that you want to make, or are you going to make the product that people want to buy? Right? You see what I'm saying? It's like you already understand the concept. So you're in the dating market. You want to date a man. You want to date a woman? Okay, then be a boss babe. I'm sure that will work out. But you gotta create the product that is interesting. At least the marketing that's interesting to him, which is not going to be the same. I probably
have the creepiest face on for like the past whatever because I'm like I don't have my book to write down the thing. But I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
I believe what you're saying.
Right.
I think it's true. However, what about the men who want to be taken care of?
What men?
Okay, the boys who want to be taken care of, or the boys who want 50-50, or the boys who want to be a stay-at-home dad. What about those?
Look,
in regards to this, I know what you're going to say about all of that, but like I'm saying this because if you go in the comments or even if you go on a date as a single woman who is a boss babe, you're going to run into guys who are like, yeah, take me on a date, pay for dinner. Like, where are we going next? And unfortunately, because the boss babes are repelling the men that they really want, they're kind of stuck with these men.
Look, I'll say this. All right.
Thank you.
It could work like that. All right. Here's the thing, and this is kind of what we're talking about traditional roles and stuff, because a lot of people are upset about this as well, right? So let's get a few things straight. So one is that maybe masculinity and femininity are social constructs, all right? I'm saying maybe because I'm going to give you that, right? The people that complain about that, I'll give you that, okay? So let's say that they're social constructs, and boys can wear dresses and girls can play with trucks and whatever, whatever. We just make them into these things, okay? We have to admit, though, that attraction is greater when there is
polarity.
Right, when there's polarity, right? When you have opposite. I mean, this is just a law of nature, right? Negative, positive, right? Negative, right? It doesn't work, right? So we like that. We create that. That's what creates passion. Every romance novel, every love story, every movie, romantic comedy, every one of those things is built off of the polarity, right? Mm-hmm. That's how things function, right? Even in non-heterosexual couples, right, relationships, there's still polarity if it's right. So polarity makes things better. So my point is that we want polarity, and who should be the man? Who should be the masculine? Who should take that end of the pole, right? And who should take the feminine end of the pole? I mean, it makes more sense to me that I'm the man. I should just take the masculine end, and you should take the feminine end because you're the woman, and that makes the most sense. But it doesn't have to be that way. You could flip it if you really want, to be the feminine guy, and this girl's going to be the masculine. You're going to still have polarity, and it's still going to work. I mean, it's not my thing. I wouldn't dig it, but yeah, that can work. But you have to understand though that you're giving up one side.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like, so what I would say to those guys that are like, oh yeah, I'd like to be taken care of. I'd like a boss babe and all that stuff. Okay, fine. But just realize that you now must assume the total feminine role.
Right.
And don't complain when she takes the masculine role. She's going to tell you what to do. She's going to be in charge. She's going to be the man of the house. Like that's
the head of the house.
That's what she is in this case. So yeah, it can work like that, but it's probably not going to work. And if you have ambitions of being a man, but then you can't have it both ways.